Therapy. We've been in the community since the early 80s. We have a stellar therapy program. We have about 40 therapists on staff. We take care of people that might have knee surgery or hip surgery. For more information, you can give us a call at 561-392-3000 or visit us on the website at whitehallboca.com.
From simple sprains to highly complex surgeries, the Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County has been serving the South Florida community for over 65 years with the finest orthopedic and pediatric care. Our physicians are each experts in their field, providing a complete spectrum of musculoskeletal care from prevention and diagnosis to treatment and rehabilitation for every part of the body in both children and adults. Our doctors are able to perform the most advanced treatment options available, including PRP therapy, stem cell, arthroscopic surgery, and microsurgery. At the Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County, we are dedicated to providing a comprehensive solution to get you back to your routine as quickly as possible, in the shortest period of time, with the least amount of inconvenience. With 3 beautiful new offices located in Lake Worth, Boynton Beach, and Wellington, we are able to provide much-needed care to families in the South Florida area. Give us a call at 561-967-6500. From our experienced physicians to the most advanced treatment options to our state-of-the-art facilities and excellent support staff, the Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County is committed to providing you with the very best care. Call us at 561-967-6500 or find us at www.ocpbc.com.
Talk 1470 WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
If you've put off dental work because you thought you couldn't afford it, I want you to call my dentist, Dr. Michael Blum. Bring him any advertised price, any print ad on any dental procedure, including crowns, caps, and porcelain veneers. Dr. Blum will meet or beat it. Call 954-463-4999. That's 954-463-4999 or online at blumdentist.com.
Did England's vote out of the EU cause you to lose money in your mutual funds, IRAs, or 401ks just because the market went down? Learn how professional traders use market timing to protect themselves from loss. Learn how money is made in down markets as well as up and sideways markets at Online Trading Academy. Online Trading Academy is the only brick-and-mortar classroom campus in South Florida where students are learning how the banks and institutions make money in down markets. And yes, you can learn market timing. Brexit was obvious, but there are other timing moments just as obvious. Learn how banks and institutions find them, and learn the right way to trade stocks, options, futures, and Forex at Online Trading Academy. All instructors are certified, currently trade, and are profitable. They show you what they do every day. See it at a free half-day class in Broward or Palm Beach at Online Trading Academy. Call now, 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Do you have enough light in your life? Are you soaring in the joy around you? Are you stuck and unable to make life happen? Stay tuned for the Rabbi Jenny Show, where you will learn how to bask in the light and find more joy and meaning in life. Call to talk to Rabbi Jenny at 888-565-1470 and email questions and comments at rabbijenny.com. And now, if you're ready, stay tuned for the Rabbi who will light your world on fire, Rabbi Jenny.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome to the Rabbi Jenny Show. We're really excited that you're here. We have an exciting topic. It's actually my favorite time of year, so I'm very excited to talk to you for this week and next week. We're right in the middle of holiday season on the Jewish calendar, and we're right in the middle of 4 very important holidays, in my opinion. They represent a real empowering cycle, which we're going to talk about on today's show. I want to remind you that we are live. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're on iHeartRadio, 1470 AM on Boca. You can watch us at rabbijenny.tv, and you can always catch old episodes on the Facebook page for the Rabbi Jenny Show or on YouTube. Just put in the Rabbi Jenny Show and pull up an old episode. And, you know, you surf through them. We have amazing spiritual leaders, people changing the planet on the Rabbi Jenny Show every week on Wednesdays. And tonight's topic is Sky Full of Stars, and I will explain it. But before I explain it, I have to explain the 2 main ideas of the Rabbi Jenny Show. So if you haven't listened to the show before, these are going to be new for you. And if you have listened to the show, yay, you're back and you get to hear them again. These are the two main ideas of my entire life. They keep my life going. I actually use them quite a bit over the last 24 hours, which I'll get to tell you about. But the first main idea of your life needs to be this: the world is happening for you and not to you. It is happening for you and not to you 100% of the time. Even if it feels like it is not happening for you, it is, because it is helping you become the person that you want to be. And that's idea number 2, that you are divine love light energy and you are always expanding and always growing and always becoming more of that light that you came here to shine. It's important to understand that, because sometimes it feels like, ooh, you're being squeezed, you're being crushed, that everything is changing and you don't know why and you can't control it. But let me tell you, when you get to the other side of it, you're bigger, you're badder, you're stronger, and your heart can handle more and can relate more to others, and that's the purpose of it all, y'all. All right, so our topic today is Sky Full of Stars, and it's inspired by the holiday that we are currently in the middle of. We're currently in the middle of the holiday of Sukkot. It is the harvest. It's the 7 days of the harvest, and it is not the only harvest holiday that we do throughout the year, but it was one of my favorite. This is like my favorite time of year from my childhood. And if you are not of the Jewish faith and you don't know much, I'm going to explain to you a little bit. Sukkot is the festival of the booths, and if you read in the scripture, if you come from a Judeo-Christian background and you have read, or one of the Abrahamic religions, you have read about the Israelites wandering through the desert and building their booths out of the branches of the trees, the palm trees and the willow, and they built these booths, and they always built these booths so the sky was the roof of it was see-through. And that's the inspiration for today's show, which shifted from the original inspiration, but it's that idea that when we build our ceiling, we should leave holes in it so we can see the sky full of stars, so we can remember that we're connected to everything, that no matter what, no matter if we're wandering in the wilderness and we're sleeping in sticks, if we look up at the sky, we see those stars and we remember that we are a piece of the divine. And this is where I tell you, if you are listening, this is for you. That no matter what is going on, this idea of becoming one with everything, of remembering that you are a piece of everything, is the key to getting through it. We've talked about the one exercise, going outside and noticing everything before. But this week it's important, and it's important to you if you're listening. If you're going through something, you're like, Jenny, I can't. I work in an office. I have stuff to do. I can't just go outside and notice everything. Well, I'm going to challenge you today. I'm going to challenge you today for the next week to try this one exercise in celebration of Sukkot, in celebration of the harvest and all the gifts that this earth gives us. And we are children of this earth. Our heart beats with this earth. We move with this rhythm. We sleep and rise with the moon and the sun. We're a part of it. So when you go outside and you notice nature, when you notice everything, it snaps you out of whatever is going on, because you remember that no matter what, the sun's going to rise. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me, because I have to. You know, it's a show. It's the Rabbi Jenny Show. So I have a doggie. His name is McLean. He is a rat terrier, and I got him a year ago. And he is my wolf. He's the love of my, one of them. I can't say the love of my life, because if you know me, I love a lot of people, and things and places and all sorts of stuff. But McLean is my little rat terrier, and my son is an 8th grader, and he's very pressured, and he gets himself ready and takes himself to the bus stop. And, you know, he had a lot of tests yesterday, and he ran to the bus stop and cracked the door on the way out, and my little rat terrier got out. And when he got home, we found out that McLean was missing. And I got a frantic call. I had stuff I was planning to do, and I ran home, and we drove around every neighborhood screaming McLean's name. And it was definitely a moment where I needed the one exercise, where I needed to remember that no matter what is happening here, no matter what happens with this dog of mine or whatever, this idea that everything is happening for me, because the way I handle myself in this situation is going to be the difference in the end of it all. Because I used to handle situations and say, why me? I used to handle situations in my life and go straight to pity and feeling sorry for myself and, oh my God, and I can't believe that this is happening to me. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, look at how I'm handling this situation that's happening to me. And that, guess what? It's not just happening to me. It's happening to this dog. It's happening to my son. It's happening to everybody, all the kids in the neighborhood that are running around screaming his name. Well, I have some really good news about McLean. A neighbor did find him. He was in a dog fight and pretty damaged. But he arrived home this morning, and I went with him to the vet, and he's got these big teeth marks because I guess big pit bulls or whatever kind of dogs they are, they really tear those dogs up. But he's got a cone on his head, and he's a real wounded warrior. And it was funny because I had to go to that point when it got dark out, like if you're watching me on the show, I'm talking to you because I'm driving around with my son, and you're driving around every single neighborhood and screaming a dog's name, and then the sun sets, and what are you going to do? I mean, you could beat your head against the wall, which is what I used to do when I couldn't control or fix things, or you could just look up at the sky full of stars and go, you know what? We can't look anymore. It's dark out. What can we do? We can go online, we can file our report, we can call animal rescue, we can get our homework done, we can eat, we can take care of ourselves, and remember that tomorrow's another day. And we can put posters up tomorrow. This is a big plan for tomorrow, but we got the dog back. And so I think the message for Sukkot and the message for this time of year is in this kind of cycle. And I wanted to talk about this is there's, I've spoken a little bit about like the spiritual paths that mean a lot to me. And I'm clearly, a rabbi, and I do Judaism clearly. But one of the major paths that I've explored and become educated in and study in is the shamanic path and Andean shamanism, and working with my teachers and healing from trauma and really the wounds of the medicine people, and the healing is absolutely phenomenal. But the medicine people, like my own people, we go with the moon. Everything happens in the cycles, and everything happens in the rhythms of nature. And when you have a lunar calendar like the Jewish people, we really do go with the seasons, and it's fall. And so I was looking at these 4 major holidays of this time of year, and I was thinking about the 4 directions in Native American and South American traditions, and I was thinking about what would Sukkot be in the cycle of those 4 directions. And it's really the third holiday in this moment. It's like you have that moment of Rosh Hashanah, the new year, where you get like a new revelation in your life, like, oh yes, this is what's wrong with me, and then you go to Yom Kippur, you go to the Day of Atonement, and you go, okay, and you come to it, you confess to it, you shed it, you have the courage and the power to face your fears, to face the transformation and death that's coming. Well, Sukkot is the next part. And it can be the most uncomfortable part because you are kind of just sitting under the stars, reveling in the gifts that are getting ready to come your way. Because next week is, we have Simchas Torah, which is the beginning of Scripture. We start all over again. In the beginning there was light. We begin again. Now that we've done all of this work on ourselves, there's a whole new world opening up next week. And if you really tune into these shifts that are changing in your world, and you really start to tune into the holidays and start tuning into what's going on with you, and a very dear friend of mine, he's a pastor, he's Christian, but he always says, I always know when it's the Jewish holidays. I can always tell. It's like working on me, and I think that we all kind of tick to this rhythm. And ask yourself right now, where am I pushing a little bit hard? Where am I pushing a little bit too hard in my life? Where aren't I sitting back and looking up at the stars? Because this is the feeling I'm getting this week, is that Spirit is working on us and working for us. But it's kind of on the inside right now. And we're being shifted and changed and grown. And nothing on the outside is quite ready to move. So we have to just sit up and look at the stars. It's our challenge to just surrender and let go. I wanted to read something written by my teacher about change and growth. And he writes, change can bring blessings in disguise, signifying that one is ready for new experiences, new growth, and new fulfillments. Resistance to change does not prevent change, but shuts the door temporarily to new and necessary movement forward from the state of the self to mature self. Moving with change accomplishes the good goal painlessly and profitably. Change, like money, is the coin with which to purchase one experience for another. Love allows change. Wisdom explains it. Love and wisdom together capitalize on it. There is nothing permanent except change. And I always think of the Israelites, and they're wandering in the desert. They've just been basically like 40 more years, buddies, sorry. And they just are wandering and wandering and wandering, and they sit and they eat and they gather and they look up at the stars. And when do we have difficulty doing that? When do we just want to, if I could just change one more thing, if I could just make one more phone call, if I could just take one more move. And that's really the feeling this week, folks. And so I'm talking to you. And if your heart hurts and if you feel like you're pushing against the tide, it's because you are. And it's time to just let go and look up at the stars. And remember, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. The Lord is our God, the Lord is one. One, go outside and notice everything. And when I say everything, hear me, everything. Nothing is non-exceptional. Have you ever looked at a lawn, like a front lawn, and how many blades of grass are in it? It's exceptional. A dragonfly, exceptional. How about your best friend? Do you ever sit and stare at your best friend? Because I can guarantee you your freckles aren't in the same place. You know what I'm saying? Your boo-boos aren't in the same place. You got unique things that you aren't celebrating and aren't noticing, which you can do in the meantime, while the universe takes all the work you just did and figures out where to put it, And sometimes I think those stars are doing that, I can get a little corny about it, but sometimes I do think they're up there like a web of light, and they're really figuring out the best way to help us all shine, to help us all get together and gather together. I had something happen really interesting this week where I was just going through all this stuff, and you might relate to this, listeners. I'm going through just a lot, besides the dog, just a lot of pressure at work, like really ridiculous, I'm not complaining, just like, woo, like on a ride. And in the middle, I would get these intuitive hits of people to call, people to contact. Some people I haven't talked to in a really long time. Set up lunch with that person. Call this person. Talk to that person. And they don't even make any sense. They're not even people that have anything to do with what I'm going through. But they are people that are going to nurture my soul and nurture my spirit and force me to look up at the stars. So pay attention to that. If you're too busy and that idea comes and says, why don't you give this person a call? Maybe you should go have coffee. Take a little ride. Go to the beach. Look up at the stars. This is the time. This is Sukkot. This is where we leave our ceiling open. All right? It's Rabbi Jenny. Keep listening. We'll be right back in a few moments. Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net. You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Here we go. Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back to the Rabbi Jenny Show. We're talking about a sky full of stars. We're middle of the holiday of Sukkot, and I'm so excited to introduce you now to our bad Mama Jamma. Jenny. We know Toto's in.
Did you do that, Jenny?
Oh, we are here with one of, this is a woman who's a legend in my mind before I actually caught eyes of her. This is Millie Tennessee. She runs a sober living homes for women in recovery. Miracles do happen. Hi, Millie. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited. Millie Tennessee. It's like so cool. It's so cool. So we're talking about a lot of stuff, but you were sharing when we were on break that what was coming up for you is this idea of surrender.
Yes.
And how is that happening in your own life right now?
Well, you can keep pushing like you said, banging your head up against the wall, or you could just let go and surrender and start trusting the process. So, of course, when you're in the midst of it, it's hard to surrender and to trust the process. I was going through internal struggles recently, and actually it made me physically sick. And I know better, but knowing better is never enough.
Right.
You have to do.
Right.
And you have to trust people. You have to go to get back to basics, praying, talking it over with friends and colleagues and getting getting grounded again, getting regrounded. I like the whole concept of looking at the skies and seeing the stars above and being reminded that it's all in God's hand.
Yeah.
And
we can't see everything. That is the other thing. Our human eyes see very little, actually.
Yes.
Than the whole picture. I think that the idea I read in a book about the Ho'oponopono, and it says that our human mind is like 15 million. There's 15 million things of data going on at all, and we actually can see 15 of it.
Wow.
That's like crazy. So that means,
it.
It's like we're basically walking blind almost, but we think we see everything.
Right. See everything, feel everything, and know
everything.
We're minute, yes.
Talk about Miracles Do Happen. Tell the listeners what it is. And you'll explain it much better than me.
Well, I hope so.
I think so. I mean, I could talk about all the women I know. We're going to meet some of them that have graduated out of Millie's program that are extremely successful. I've known so many before even meeting Millie. That's how I know Millie, is from the faces of the women that have recovered.
Wonderful.
So tell us what it is, Miracles Do Happen.
Miracles Do Happen is a transitional, all women's transitional housing program. We're located in Delray Beach, Florida. We've been in existence. I've been doing this work for over 10 years. I've had miracles since 2007.
Wow.
So we've been pretty busy, and it's been a blessing. There's a lot of women that come through our properties, and I feel blessed to know that we have a lot of successes. A lot of successes.
What do you think makes Miracles different?
I think the main thing is that I'm able to have one-on-ones with my girls. Each one of my young ladies that come into the program have individual needs and cares.
And when you talk about transitional housing, because remember, sometimes the listeners don't know everything that we're talking about, and the listeners know I work in substance abuse treatment. So when we talk about transitional housing, we're actually talking about the housing that happens after you've been through treatment for substance abuse or mental health, and then you're going to re-enter into life. It offers a middle level of life before you have your own apartment and your own. You can learn life skills and responsibility, and have a community still around you. Correct?
You have women that support you. It allows you that cushion from real life. I mean, it's real life, but it gives you an opportunity to go through feelings without having to worry about drinking or drugging, and knowing that there are other women around you that are going through the same exact thing, and give support to each other. You know, I'm very hands-on with my girls. You know, I can see if there are issues that are going on that they're not quite ready to open up and talk about. So I think that's what sets Miracles apart from other transitional housing programs. I hate to use the word halfway house because
halfway to a house.
Yes, it's like halfway to a house, and it has such a bad name in the community right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's
well,
a
and
lot
in
of
ours, I mean, again, it's funny because South Florida is where a lot of substance abuse treatment happens, like California. But it's it's all in other parts of the country. It's part of the journey. You know, I mean, if you've been on the streets, like a lot of the clients have been, it's a reasonable alternative and it's less overwhelming. Like the one thing that I find about transitional housing or halfway housing is that it's not as scary.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary enough living without your best friend,
That's true. You get an opportunity, you get a schedule. It's easy to fall back into the depression or into a slump. So you get up at a certain time, you pray, you clean your house, clean your area, look for a job, talk to a sponsor, start working, learning how to budget your money. And just being responsible. I have girls that, they start off saying, well, how am I going to be able to make 2 meetings a day? That's what we require if you're not working or a full-time student. And it's like, what else are you doing?
Right.
You can do it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things in life that happen that you don't think you can ever make it through, but you do make it through.
And you don't ever you can't invent that experience again. That's what, when we talk about our challenges happening for us, is like those are the things that we actually make it through, show us what our priorities are.
Absolutely.
They're our experiences, not our ideas. You can tell me a million things, but show me and I'll believe you. So you brought a couple of your girls here.
I did.
Who do you want to talk to first? Who should we talk to first?
Let's do Allison first.
Allison, come on over and sit next to Millie. And Allison is a graduate. Yeah?
Allison
a graduate
is
of Miracles.
A graduate.
She's scooting in. We're being very messy. Scoochy.
She's flexible.
Yeah, she
More
can handle it.
flexible
All right,
than
so you
me.
want to pull the mic up to you, Al. Okay, so Allison, tell us about you and your experience with Millie at Miracles.
Well, I have 2.5 years sober now, graduated through Millie at Miracles. And going to a transitional living house was like the last thing on my mind to do when I got out of treatment. I was put up a fight, but it was probably for sure 110% it was the best thing, because it not only did it give me the structure and everything else that I needed, but make me want to cry. Going through her house taught me so much, and she gave me so much opportunity even after. The way that it's structured is to give you back a life, and she has been one of the biggest supporters of my recovery even now.
So tell us, we're talking about that idea of feeling connected when you don't feel so connected.
Yeah.
So what are the kind of things you can remember from your days at Miracles, where moments, because I know that you guys pray together and you do some spiritual activity, like just
We
talk,
do.
yeah. So talk
It was
about that.
I was kicking and screaming to walk into those doors. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. But I listened to that God conscience and knew that it was the right thing to do. And then when it was time for me to leave, I did not want to leave. I had to, in the sense of for other reasons. But I didn't want to leave. I built such a good friendship with all of the girls that were there, and it was such a good support because for me, I would get back into my routine of working so much and things like that, where it wasn't I didn't have balance. I didn't know how to create balance in my life, and being at Millie's helped me put recovery first. I was still able to work and create that balance. So I had a good support network with those people that were there, and was able to create the balance in my life that I needed instead of just diving into work. And then when it was time for me to leave,
How long were you there?
I was there for about 4 months. My situation was a little different. I came in there a few months sober already, but I was pregnant. So when I was leaving, it was because I was about to have a baby.
That is so cool.
So I had to get my life established a little bit quicker.
Daughter, son?
I had a little girl.
What's her name?
Zoe.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's amazing. She's doing awesome also.
Wow. How old is Zoe now?
Zoe is about 19 months. She just turned 19 months. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. She's the best. She's the greatest joy ever.
Wow. So you went through transitional housing pregnant.
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I started off when I got out of treatment on my girlfriend's couch, and I decided actually it was it was the best option for me to do exactly what was right for me, not what I wanted to do, because now I had something else to consider, So I was the best thing for me to do is honestly to go to a halfway house. So I went there, and Millie accepted me in there pregnant. I didn't know if I was even going to be able to go. And I looked at a bunch of places, and I did not feel as comfortable as when I went to her house, and I was like, this is going to be okay. This is going to be what I could do. And it ended up being great. There were the other women that were in the house, the support for Millie, it was great. But then even after I left, though, is really where the miracles started to happen. It was amazing sober home, but the miracles really did happen. I ended up starting to, I was out for a few months, and I ended up getting my own apartment and things, and I was able to work there.
Yes, she works.
I did. I worked there, which was amazing because it fit the most perfect schedule ever. I was still able to wake up with the girls, go to the meeting that I was used to going to. I was walking around with a big beer belly, But the schedule was perfect. So it was amazing that I still was able to stay connected to the girls I went to the house with. Now I'm managing them, which was a little awkward at first, but it worked. And it's to stay connected with the people in the meetings. Yeah.
I have the pictures of that.
We went to the convention. We did things like that. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about where you are now, Allison, and we'll talk a little bit about this surrender, and then we have Aradna. We have someone else to meet here. And This is Rabbi Jenny. We're talking about A Sky Full of Stars, and with Millie from Miracles Do Happen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back. We are here with Millie Tennessee from Miracles Do Happen. We're here from Allison, one of her graduates, and you work there. Mm-hmm. Miracles Do Happen, a mom in recovery. Mm-hmm. And we were having a really interesting conversation in the break, which I think is important. We're talking about surrendering and accepting the gifts and actually just sitting back when there's nothing to do. You know, and one of the things we were talking about is like, what if you knew that you were just 100% divine energy and everything was always okay, and that everything out here was just, I don't know, just something, a game to play, you know? I mean, what if that was, and why does that make us so uncomfortable, you know? And I'm not really sure, you know, but I think it's because we think we're so important. Maybe. So Allison, tell me about like recovery now, like, you know, you're in your life. Where do you have difficulty surrendering? Where do you have difficulty just sitting back and not and looking up at the sky? Yeah, come on, talk to there's listeners. You know, there might be have
it was really good to listen to you actually, because it's like, oh my gosh, I can so need to apply this right now to my everyday life, and I've been practicing. So as like a woman in recovery, you learn the tools of recovery and the different things, because there's no magic pill for us, like the things that relieve all those stressors and those anxieties. And nature is definitely one of those big things, meditation and stuff. So it's like, where am I starting to lack, and where am I not letting go? Why am I so stressed out right now? You know, like, what am I doing? And I definitely, obviously, like work is always like the big one. You know, work is always you have
a caller? Oh, okay. Go closer to the mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
Like I said, I was never able to create balance before with work in my life. I would always just go full-fledged with work. So still trying to keep that balance, you know, which is practicing those things. But I like letting go and knowing that life life is going to play itself out. But like you said, like I said, I like to listen to you this morning. Like when you feel that, like that jolt, that this isn't right, you know, listening to that God conscience, or like where are you fighting things, you know,
and if you
instead
go
of
fast,
like going with
like
the stream
you miss
of life.
it. Yeah, like if you're moving and moving and moving, you don't hear it, right? You know, and
you just go. You just constantly go. That's like how I am, until I can actually take a step back and like say, okay, like let's see what's like, look at what's really going on, like getting a higher level of consciousness and seeing like what's really going on here.
And Zoe, you know, like I know, like with my son, like that's sometimes all it takes. That's the sky full of stars for me. Like sometimes I'll be so caught up, but if I just look at, you know, him, you know, and, that's what's important. You know, and even with the dog thing for me, and I know you guys can relate because you're always around a lot of people, but the important people always show up when important things happen.
Yeah.
And the non-important people always disappear.
Yeah.
You know? And so maybe that's one of the gifts
Yeah.
of big things and
Yes.
hard things in life. So I want to meet, we have Aradna here. She's going to scoot in. We're going to be creative here. So she's going to kind of, I don't know, Freddie's going to kill me, but that's okay. We're going to just, we're going to they're going to sit on laps here because we want Allison to stay.
Sorry.
Here, sit with us. Okay, so we just need you to go up to at least one of the mics. So Aradna's here, also from Miracles, a graduate.
Yes.
Okay, he's gonna kill me with the camera. It's okay. It's okay. So a graduate of Miracles Do Happen,
Yes.
and tell us about you.
Okay. Well, I was a mixed diagnosis. I mean, obviously you deal with addiction, but I struggled a lot with mental illness, and part of my thing was like I was never able to function on my own in real life. Like I was never able to support myself inwardly and outwardly.
Yes.
So like I always had my mom or I had my boyfriends or whatever, but I never was able to hold my own. And what Miracles taught me was that I could do that.
Right.
Like I remember Allison was the one who picked me up at the airport, and like I was terrified. I was out of my mind with fear, and she told me, "You're okay. You know, you're gonna be okay." And like I did not believe her. I didn't believe anybody for a long time, but like I know that I'm gonna be okay.
It's hard to accept love too when you've been in that place where you felt so ashamed. You know,
Right.
I mean, the word was ugly that comes to mind, but it's just that shame that you feel in addiction. And then to get all of that love that comes from the women in recovery, it's like, whoa, slow your roll, man. Come on now, you know. And so tell us tell us about the progression, because I know at Millie's you go to 2 meetings and then you look for a job. And so, what was your first job?
Okay, my first job was like just a click away. It was like across the street. It was Bed Bath and Beyond. And I didn't take to it very well. Like, I mean, this was the first time I held a job without any support chemically, and it was difficult. It was so difficult. I was struggling with other things at the time, and I ended up not staying at that job. But yeah, like that was also a big part of my journey, was being able to be consistent and being accountable and showing up anyway, even if I felt like I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's moving your feet. You know, your feelings will change the more you move your feet. How do people get in touch with you, Millie? And you help people who graduate from treatment all over the country. Like you don't have here. You pull that mic towards you. We're gonna get creative here. We're all sharing 2 mics. This is very exciting. This is new ground on the Rabbi Jenny Show. So where do you have a website? Is it just
a website.
Okay.
It's really funny. It's called Miracles Do Happen, and you could do it. A Google for Miracles Do Happen. A lot of people have told me that you can also Google Millie's house for some reason.
Oh,
that comes
that's
up.
how I find it. Millie's house. I did. Well, that's what I called it forever. I don't know how many people I've call Millie.
I know.
You know, like you were like some sort of weird ghost legend in the community. It's true. It's true. There's a few of you. Yeah.
There's a couple of us.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No.
It's like wrangling cats.
It's so rewarding. Though.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's so rewarding. And I see miracles happening.
Is there a
daily.
phone number for someone?
Yes, our number is 561 302 9584. You can call me, you can email me, text me, and we're here to help.
Absolutely great. So where do you struggle, Aradna, right now with surrendering? Are you going to pull that mic? Pull it. I'm jumping.
This is so pertinent right now in my life. Like I was given an assignment by a woman who told me that I need to read, I guess we're okay with talking about the big book, the section with the 3rd step, which basically is about surrender. And she said, use I statements instead of like just reading it through. And it had such an impact on me. And I've been doing it over and over and over again, trying to let it sink in. But like today I have difficulty, especially like with work, definitely with work. Like I'm thinking I need to be, you know, on my feet financially. I need to have this job. I need to be moving here. I need to be doing this, and not, you know, just letting things happen and letting it go.
Well, and you're saying I need. And in that moment, you're recognizing that you don't have all that you need.
Right, so being grateful.
And it's funny because it's funny the language that we have, ladies. And as women, I'm coining the "I've been Hillaried" phrase because there's a whole thing going on the planet right now. But I noticed that, and I can pass this on. Is that like I would get in power struggles with male power people have power over me essentially in the work environment, and I would just go, just shoot me. I noticed that I would just say that, like I'd walk away and go, oh, shoot me, and then I was like, wait a minute. Shoot you. Like, why am I shooting me? But it's the language. Why is it like becoming conscious that you can own stuff? And once you own it, you can change it, and using I. And that, the things I think, what's the biggest thing you're learning at work today, at your job?
Boundaries. I'm working for Millie right now.
So she brought her staff.
Yeah. These are my alumni, and they happen to be the best employees around.
Well, they get it.
It's true. The house, they know how I operate. So when you get new girls that are like, "Oh, Millie's this," or then they said, "Just breathe."
Yeah,
they've gone through it.
So boundaries how?
I've struggled a lot with integrity, personal integrity, not with other things, but with myself. Like when people ask me to do things and I should say no, and I always say yes. I'm very much a people pleaser. And now I'm coming back to the house and it's very awkward because I love the girls that live there. I lived with them for over a year and a half, and now I have to go and tell them what to do, sort of. And it's uncomfortable, but
confrontation, which was on the list for today's show.
There's no confrontation. It's just I just have to kind of I have to step up and be like, that's
Speak
not
your
okay,
truth.
and believe in myself, which is difficult. And that's my struggle right now. It's not just with the women in the house; it's in my own life, my personal life. That's basically what's been put in my path right now to work on.
Yeah, saying no.
Yeah, saying no.
Yeah.
I used to just tell them, Millie's not gonna let you do that.
And I say all the time,
I say the same thing. Blame me.
Exactly.
Just tell them, just blame me.
That's
You know,
right.
is that
You
I have no problem being the bad guy.
They understand that.
Yeah. So if you had a message for girls or women struggling with substance abuse, or what would be like your biggest message? I mean, to have a baby and stay, it's just amazing. So what would be what would be the biggest thing you'd want them to know that you learned at Miracles Do Happen?
The biggest thing that I would want them to know that I learned there, I guess maybe not so much that I learned there, but that I can say there is Millie's girls stay sober. It doesn't matter, like they do. It's not. It's not. I don't want to say that it's not easy, or that it's hard, because it's not easy. But it's Millie's girls stay sober.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And Miss Rodna, what would you want them to know?
You're not alone.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I thought for the longest time I was alone. Like I was unique. And people assured me that I was not unique at all.
I don't know. You look kind of special to me. I don't know. It's like, it's such a fine line with me, that whole unique thing, because I think we're fabulously unique and not, and so we got to be careful. And what about you, Miss Millie? What do you want people to know about Miracles Do Happen before we go to break?
I think the biggest thing for my own recovery, and especially at Miracles, is just surrender and trust the process. Just trust the process. We're here for you.
Yes, and you're going to look up at the sky.
Right.
Right.
Look up at the sky.
And look up at the sky. So you can
See the
reach
stars.
Millie at Miracles Do Happen. If you've completed, or if you have a family member who's in substance abuse treatment, or you've completed substance abuse treatment and you want to come to sunny Florida and be with Millie. And her phone number one more time is?
Number is 561 302 9584, and Google Miracles Do Happen.
All right, Millie. Well, you guys are going to stick around with us for the last section of the show?
Absolutely.
And just hang out and giggle in the background. Just giggle in the background. Your mics will be off. We'll be right back with the Joy Jar and the Jenny Jam.
Okay.
The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, I love your dog. Oh, okay, I got to finish the show or else I just talked to our guests through the whole thing. It's Rabbi Jenny. We're back. We're talking about a sky full of stars. We are in the middle of Sukkot, the festival of the harvest, right after the New Year's, right after the Day of Atonement. And we're really sitting back now and we're becoming one with everything. We're going outside and we're noticing everything. And we're looking up at the stars. If you might not know this, but on Sukkot, we eat outside in our sukkah, in our hut. We eat dinner outside with our family, and a lot of people eat all the meals outside. And the sky is to be seen. The way that the sukkah, the hut is constructed, you can see the sky full of stars. And so that's the theme of our program. Sit back, look up at the sky. When things aren't really moving as fast as you want them to, they're not supposed to. It's fall. Okay, that's the season that we're in. We're getting ready to go into hibernation. Just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it is time for the Joy Jar Challenge. We have a caller.
Joy, 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 joy. It's Adeline Gobergstein, and it's time for the Rabbi Jenny Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Hi, who's on the air?
Hi, Rabbi. It's Dawn Graubert from Two Bras from Boca.
Oh, my God, Dawn from Two Bras from Boca. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm so excited to see you tomorrow.
I'm so excited we're having a crossover show from Two Bras from Boca, Rabbi Jenny, and Two Boys from Brooklyn.
It's like a super show. Super show. So, Dawn, you know the challenge, the Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge?
I've got 10 things that make me happy.
All right, let's hear them.
And I'm so glad that it's Sukkot because those are my top things. It's nature, it's the stars, it's the waterfalls and the birds, and appreciating everything that's outside. My children, my husband, a healthy family, my incredible business partners, close friends, and the opportunity to really help make a difference and empower women of all the things that we're able to do to open those hushed topics and make people feel supported and know that nobody's in this alone and we all are doing this together. How many am I at?
You're at like 1,000, but I'm going to make you give me 3 more just because it's you, Dawn, and I know you can do it.
Incredible network of people that I work with. So I'm so grateful for the people I work with, people like you and Freddie and Dr. Amy and all of our co-hosts and Bree that we get to share and cross-network and all empower each other and our listeners and viewers.
Oh, thanks, Dawn. What would you like to promote today?
I want to promote our crossover show tomorrow, 2 boys from Brooklyn and Dawn, with 2 broads from Boca and Rabbi Jenny on 12:30 a.m. WBZT. And you can watch us 12 to 1 or listen on AMP2 TV Productions on Facebook, just like they are you, or iHeartRadio at 12:30 a.m.
Thank you, Dawn, for calling in.
Thanks. See y'all tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night. Ridiculously joyful. All right. Okay, so we are talking about looking at the sky full of stars, and it is time. I think we're going to go right into the Jenny Jam, okay? Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. I have to remember the tune. Wandering, set me free, place the clouds above me. Hold me on, shelter my heart through the desert to Zion. Can't be broke, can't be bought. Your love, it frees me, breaks my chains. Slavery, history, destiny, no more pain. Wandering through the sticks, cover me with your branches. Let me rest under the stars, through the desert to Zion. Can't be broke, can't be bought. Your love, it frees me, breaks my chains. Slavery, history, destiny, no more pain. Wandering, set me free, place them clouds above me. Lead me on, shelter my heart through the desert to Zion. Anna Hashem Hoshiana, Anna Hashem Hoshiana, Anna Hashem Hasliachna, Anna Hashem Hasliachna. I'm going to have to expand on that one, folks. I really like that one. I never realized how much I love this time of year. I never realized how much I love this holiday until, I think that losing my father and it's like when you get to holidays and you get to those times of year where you're used to spending time with certain people, sometimes that's when you actually recognize the majesty of the moment. What we're talking about today and what we've talked about for the past hour, which is important if you want to replay the show again, is to basically look up at the sky. That's the thing. You want to remember that you're connected to the whole, that you're a piece of divine, that despite the way things might feel, it might feel like things are squeezing you real tight right now, but it's, I know it's a fallacy that you can squeeze coal and make it a diamond, but it sure is a really good image. You got to squeeze the fruit to get the juice, okay? Do you like that one? I think that makes sense, And sometimes it feels like somebody's just squeezing your heart real tight, and it feels like life's a struggle, and it feels like you can't get going. And what's happening is the Spirit's working on you. Spirit's making you stronger. Spirit's showing you what you're made of. It's showing you what you can handle, because the next thing that's coming along is going to require a whole new human being. We were talking in the break with our guests, and we were talking about the fact that sometimes we want what we want when we want it. But the unfortunate thing about wanting what we want when we want it is we can't see what's coming, and we would want that even more. And I always say that, the woman I'm going to be in 6 months is nothing compared to the woman that I am now. So I'm going to wait, and we get all caught up in time in this life, and everything's a rush. Everything has to be now. Everything has to be now. Sukkot is not about that. Sukkot is enjoying every meal under the stars, appreciating every day as one day at a time, which can be the real big challenge, And it can be the big challenge to enjoy your family and look at the blessings in your life, because we get really, really distracted. Sometimes if you're struggling with, Oh gosh, it's all money, right? Isn't it all money now, and bills, and the hamster wheel that we put ourselves on, and the fear of letting all of that go, and the actual freedom it feels when you do so. It's really a paradox, kind of. You think you need all of these things. One of the things I'll share with you listeners, and because I gave myself a little extra time, I had sort of like a little bit of a breakthrough, and I'm really taking this election very seriously as a female. And I'm taking it seriously because I believe it reflects a history. It's like extremes of female and male energies in my own culture, in Western culture, and what I've been raised in, and my own history of the women in my family, my mother and her mother, and the power that they did not have, and how I, as a young woman, suffered because these women did not have that power. And recently, I was actually put in a situation where I did not have power, and I had people to protect that I could not protect, but in order to save other people, I had to kind of sacrifice some situations. And in that moment, I realized that women, we are put in uncomfortable situations because of our lack of power. We have to make difficult choices. And I think the first step, and it's always amazing to me when I hear a woman say something bad about Miss Clinton. I just love her. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just a Hillary freak. Have been since I was in college, But it's always amazing to me when it's the women. Because we are angry, and we are not angry at the men. And I don't even know why I'm going here in this show, folks. But I believe we're angry at the women who had to make difficult choices, and our own self-esteem was thrown down. So right now, I just want to say that I forgive you, ladies, because it's time to unite and empower ourselves, because we are the moon, we are the sky, and the male is the sun. And we work together. And the only way we can do is if we let go of all those old ideas. It's a sky full of stars. We gotta watch this one again. Thank you, Millie, for Miracles to Happen. Thank you, Epiphany Resources. Thank you, Manju Kalandindi. And always remember to go to forthechildrenfirst.org and give them a nice donation. It's Rabbi Jenny. Check this one out again. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
You have been listening and lighting up your life with Rabbi Jenny. Join us next week for another session of love, light, and joy as Rabbi Jenny takes life to the next level. Are you ready? Rabbi Jenny says the time is now. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Talk 1470 WWN.